there, welcome to the King tutorial class. In today's class, we're looking at things to know before solving questions in bearing and distance. Now, in bearing and distance, the first thing we'll be looking at is we have to know that we have what we call cardinal points. We have what we call cardinal points. So, in this case, we have our 4 cardinal points, which is talking about our basic poles: north, south, east, west. So, as cardinal points, we have our 4 cardinal points. We have our 8 cardinal points. These are 8 cardinal points. So, this is talking about our north, south, east, west, our northeast, southeast, southwest, and northwest. Then we also have our 16 cardinal points in that case then. So basically in bearing we'll be dealing with these 2. Then talking about this most especially. Now for compass bearing is talking about our 8 cardinal points most especially. That is, in compass bearing we'll be giving things like north 40 degrees east, south 60 degrees west, north 45 degrees west, and south 70 degrees east. Now all this means is that you are starting from your north, tracing it down to your east. So for this, north 40 degrees east is from north, trace 40, then stop it there. So I have this is my north, take note. So this is my 40 north, 40 degrees east. For south 60 degrees west, this is my southwest. So south 60 degrees west means start from your south, go down to your west 60 degrees. So that's the direction. So your compass bearing is talking about direction basically. So without direction, you're not talking about compass bearing. For north 45 degrees west. Okay, this is for northwest, sorry. So this should represent my north 45 degrees west. Then this is for north 40 degrees east. That's from your north. Trace 40, then represent it here. Then finally for your south 70 degrees east. This is my south. Trace it down to east 70 degrees. So this is direction. This is my 70 degrees. So this is south 70 degrees east. That's for compass bearing. You must be given the direction which you have to represent your 4 cardinal points. Okay. So that's for compass bearing. Now for 3-dimensional bearing, which we call 3-figure or 3-digit bearing, or the 3-dimensional 3-figure or 3-digit bearing. So in this case, while looking at our values on our cardinal points to be in 3-figure, that is 0, 5, 0, 0, 0, 5, and something like 126 degrees. So this is how to represent 50 in bearing. This is how to represent 5 degrees in 3-figure bearing. This is how to represent 126 in 3-figure bearing. Now for this case, questions can be given to you like from point A we have A to be on a bearing of 50 degrees now. 50 degrees to point B. So how do you see it? How do you represent it? This is your starting point, so your north must be here. Other cardinal points might not need to represent your points. Now, before we continue now, in three-figure bearing, we have what we call quadrants. Okay, we have our first quadrant, second quadrant, we have our third quadrant, we have our fourth quadrant. Now, this is what will give you a guide on where to put your angle. For our first quadrant, okay, we have it from 0 to 90, second quadrant 91 to 180, third quadrant 181 to what, 270, and your fourth quadrant is what, 271 to what, 360. So in three-figure bearing, we're looking at where you see from to know the first cardinal point to draw. So if I say A is on a bearing of 160 degrees from B now, A is on a bearing of 160 degrees from B. In that case, I'm going to have my B drawn first. Put my knot. Okay. A is on a bearing of what? 160 degrees from B. So I'm starting from B. Draw the cardinal point of B. A is on a bearing of what? 160 degrees. 160 degrees is on what? The second quadrant. So I do it like this. So this is where my A will stop. This is where my A will be, Okay, so A is on the bearing of what? 160 degrees from B. That means from this point to this point is what? 160 degrees. To get this small part is simple. Since from here to here is 90 degrees from our quadrant, it means that what? From here to here will be what? 160 minus 90. Okay, so that should be 50 degrees in that case then. So whenever I'm measuring any angle in your three-figure bearing, you must start from the knot. Okay, you must start from the knot, which is here. So if I'm not to that, what the bearing of A from B is 160 degrees, which is this representation. Find the bearing of B from A. Initially, A from B is 160. B from A is now going to put B from A. I'm to find the bearing of what? B from A. In that case, I'll start measuring from what? A. I'll go to the knot of A. I'll measure from A until when I get to the line joining B and A together. Again, if I'm to measure the bearing of B from A, I'm to start from what? A's cardinal point. Locate the knot. Draw it until I get to what? The line joining A and B together. So it means I would add this plus this plus this plus this small one to get my bearing of what? B from A. In that case then. So for this first one, I have this as this. The bearing of A, the bearing, A is on the bearing 50 degrees to B. It means from point A, I have it drawn as 50 degrees from my first cardinal point to B. Now note, in bearing, your cardinal points must be what? Parallel to themselves. Okay, they must be what? Parallel to themselves. Parallel to themselves. In that case then. Now, if they are parallel to themselves, it means I'll now have angle 50 here to be the same thing as what? Angle 50 here. Why? Because looking at parallel lines, whenever you have anything that looks like Z, it means what? It's an alternate what? Angle. In that case, alternate angle being equal means what? 50 here is equals to what? 50 here. So the same thing here, the same thing goes to this one. If from here to here is 160, from here to here is going to be what? 160 minus what? 90, which is 50 degrees. It means this small side is 50 degrees. Then I'll look for Z. I'll look for Z. So this is my Z. It means that this small side here also is what? 50 degrees. So in that case, finding the bearing of B from A means I'll add this, which is 90, plus this, which is 180, plus this, which is 270. That means 90, 90, 90. That's 270 plus 50. So I'm going to have my answer as what? 340. Sorry. This is, yes, that's 340 degrees. So 90 plus 90 plus 90 plus what? 50 degrees. How do I get this 50 degrees? By subtracting what? 90 from 160 to get this really small side. And that's how to solve questions under what? Bearing and distance.